Is Disney Plus set to plummet Star Wars to its lowest levels ever? What are they doing? Hello and welcome back to the Best Damn Nerd Show channel, your interval for all things nerdy. I am James Kincaid alongside John Craig, and we're here to talk yet again about Disney Star Wars and the mismanagement and bad decisions therein. Now, file this one firmly in rumor and innuendo, nothing confirmed, but Mike Zeroh, who has, made headlines before with Star Wars, sometimes hits, sometimes misses, but he, took to his channel talking about how Brie Larson is set to be cast as a new character in a new timeline that is more powerful than Darth Vader, more powerful than Rey, more powerful than Luke, more powerful than you could ever imagine.
I don't know. I can imagine quite a bit.
And I just, I saw Tyrone Magnus talking about this as well. It's definitely making the rounds across the internet. And again, heavily in rumor and innuendo. But given that Mike Zeroh so got under Rian Johnson's skin during, Last Jedi and everything like that, and being that is the worst thing to ever happen to Star Wars, and Rian Johnson did that. And since Rian Johnson hates Mike Zeroh, I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt here and talk about this, because anyone that could upset Rian Johnson like that is worth our time. I mean, to the point that this is a tweet that Rian Johnson deleted. He was laughing at Mike Zeroh. He said, when we were in production, we had a guy keeping an eye on online rumors. At some point, we started using zero as a verb, like throw trash at basket, but it slips out of your hand and falls behind you. Zeroed it. So that's how under Rian Johnson's skin he got, and then he had to delete that too. Way to go, coward. So I'm willing to give Mike Zeroh our time then to talk about this and the benefit of the doubt that this, and look, Disney Star Wars, as we've discussed, not real Star Wars, would make a decision this bad. But John, what's your reaction to this? Because I know you were laughing it up over there before we went live here.
Well, first of all, I love that that zeroed became a verb for those guys. I love that he tweeted him to legitimize him and then felt like he had to delete it. And really, we're just going to make a string of videos until he does the same with us, right? We're just going to keep trolling until Rian Johnson or whoever leads this project.
Rian Johnson legitimately is the worst thing to ever happen to Star Wars. And I like Knives Out. Yeah. I'm not completely against it. I'm not saying he can't make a good movie. He completely drove the character of Luke Skywalker into the side of a cliff. So, and honestly, as long as he takes the heat off the prequels and you can give those a little bit of a break now and then, I'm cool with it. Who'd have thought? He's the greatest hero for the prequels.
Here's my thing, and I have a couple thoughts on this, but my first reaction is like, why does it got to be more powerful? Like, why are we escalating here? Why does everything got to be more powerful? Like the whole idea of Darth Vader and just the Force in general is that it is something that is constantly needing to be in balance. And when something falls out of balance, then something else has to pop up that brings it back to balance. Like Darth Vader, Luke Skywalker, or any other Jedis in this universe, they're conduits of the Force bringing it back to balance. There's no such thing as more powerful. Like that's ridiculous, dude. You can't just escalate and just keep getting more and more and more powerful. At a certain point, these beings have tapped in and are just unfettered conduits of the Force. There is no more powerful.
Well, you hit on a couple things there that I want to touch on. First, I'll go to the whole like imbalance stuff and more powerful. According to this rumor, is that she's going to find some type of tap into some new sort of force that is beyond light side and dark side that's even more powerful and stuff like that. So playing a character in this series called Maeve, and again, set in some type of new timeline, people are worried about, is this some sort of reboot or whatever? My thing with this, I think the most important thing,
stupid.
I think the most important thing that you hit on is the why more powerful, and why sort of, the older school person like me that loves the original Star Wars trilogy or whatever it is that there's this idea of the recency bias or sort of recency escalation, in terms of power level, that the next thing in order to put that thing over, that character over, or this story over, this villain, that they have to somehow, it's lazy writing and it's bad writing. It's that in order to make them seem threatening, they almost have to squish down or make what came before feel less than. And that's honestly what I think I rebel against more than anything with Last Jedi, or even some of the Marvel movies that I don't like. It is this bad sort of a technique that is, in order to make my characters seem strong, I'm going to make what came before seem less than, and I hate that.
I think that's a good point.
I hated that in The Last Jedi. The fact that you sacrificed at the altar of your lesser characters, you sacrificed Luke Skywalker so that you could prop up Rey. You could prop up Kylo Ren. You could do all these things that, this established canon, this established sort of hero of this saga, you completely sacrifice for the benefit of these characters that, in my opinion, are not timeless and will not stand the test of time, but they did. And by they, I mean Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader and Han Solo and Princess Leia and Chewbacca and all these characters that have stood the test of time and, sort of worked their way into pop culture relevance forever. I don't see that happening for Rey and for Finn and for Kylo.
Well, I think honestly part of it is that like they felt like they had to tie things into those movies and do true sequels, in the sense that like you have some characters return and it's a continuation of those storylines, whereas like I feel like with the Force, and I feel like something that all like original Star Wars fans understood with the Force was like the Force is indifferent in terms of who is carrying it out. Like it's not the Skywalkers are not like the chosen family. Like, well, they are in the original series in terms of that's who we're following, because that's who is the conduit right now. Like that's like the Force.
Luke does say that the Force is strong in my family. My father had it. I have it. My sister has it.
And it could be the culmination of like a couple generations of being in tune with it, right?
Sure.
But like this drama has been playing out for thousands, hundreds of thousands of years in this universe. Like it's and it's a drama that will always play out. It will continue to play out. I understand the urge to do another trilogy to follow up the original trilogy that continues the storyline on. But I think that they honestly might have had better luck if they just like truly started a new storyline that utilizes the Force and have a new story of good and evil, because that's a timeless story. Having good and evil, but also having it not necessarily be so objective in what's good and what's evil. Like, and I think there are arguments to be made that like even Anakin's storyline in the prequels play into the gray area a little bit, or at least he can be a little bit sympathetic in terms of why he would choose the dark side. You can choose to disagree. That's fine. I'm just saying.
I'm not here to talk about the prequels.
I'm just saying the Force, you have good, you have evil, and it manifests itself in beings that are in tune with the Force. I don't think that we have to hear about the Skywalkers until the end of time. Like we have an amazing chronicle of that family story. Let's leave it there and move on, right? But,
I've said that multiple times that if they wanted to do a sequel trilogy, they should have gone way more advanced into the future so that you didn't have to touch on these cultural touchstones.
Maybe they can have references. Maybe they can have references.
References are great.
But do something new. Now, when I say new, okay, don't mistake what I'm saying here. I'm not saying you fucking throw out the entire groundwork that's been laid with the Force and this concept of good and evil, and you go, no, but that was nothing. Like, wait till you see this other Force that we've come up with that's way more badass. Like, it's like how many it's like Dragon Ball Z, dude. It's like every season we're just gonna go deeper and deeper, and like power levels are just gonna become irrelevant because like in the next series that we do, like it's just going to be ramped up exponentially. Like, come on, dude. Why not just tell a story about the Force and good and evil? Like Brie Larson aside, and we can get to her, but Brie Larson aside, why does it got to be escalated? You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
That's where I'm
Take her
coming
out of
from
the
here.
equation, but the part of it that stands out to me is more powerful than Vader and new Star Wars show.
Dude, it's
Again,
stupid.
it is the recency escalation.
Oh.
It is this technique of wanting to prop yourself up by being like, well, people want to watch it because we're this. Can you top this idea?
Yeah.
Which is why, like in the MCU, Winter Soldier is a great MCU movie. They're not necessarily, fighting the most powerful villain in that movie, but it doesn't make it any less than Endgame in terms of enjoyment level.
Right.
It's a beautifully written, great action-packed movie. Iron Man 1 is not less enjoyable now. It's just they can make another Iron Man 1 with that level of villain, with that kind of storytelling, or make another Winter Soldier with that level of villain. We've talked about in the Best Damn Nerd Show, the Commissar and I, Jeff Budd, talking about why couldn't we get, the Masters of Evil or like the Serpent Society, which are not your cosmic powerhouse level villains. They're more grounded type villains, and there is an appetite for that. There is
build out the universe beyond. Yeah.
The next thing doesn't have to be the most powerful thing.
But I mean, come on, that's what Star Wars is always stuck in this, like, no, it's all about the Jedis. Like, it always has to come back to the Jedis one way or another, and it always has to circle around them. And now, going into like escalation land, like it gets icky.
I don't think that. I mean, the original Star Wars movies were all about Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader.
They were.
So, but the character, people gravitated towards the non-Jedi characters. I think I mean, Han Solo is probably looked at as, the coolest character in Star Wars. He's not a Jedi.
Yeah.
He's one of the coolest characters ever in history.
But even like Mandalorian had to like come back to the Jedis. Like,
I do appreciate sort of, they did try and steer away from it more so than anything else in the past had.
Yeah.
I mean, they did end up coming back to it a little bit well. So
we're getting a little off course. I'm sorry. I don't mean to like deter the whole thing.
Hey, I love talking Star Wars. I had to come on here and react to this rumor. And again, Mike Zeroh, my hat is off to you. Whether this proves to be true or false, and I hope it's false. I would not rule out that Disney would be this stupid to do a show like this, because they did do The Last Jedi and Force Awakens, all that. Disney Star Wars sucks. For the most part. So I would not rule this out being completely true. But even if it's not, Mike Zeroh, my hat is off to you, just for the fact that you pissed off Rian Johnson so much that you really got to him, that he had to acknowledge you. So I Derek Jeter, hat tip, much respect to you. That is going to do it for this video here. But if you're a nerd, keep saying it loud, keep saying it proud. Disney Star Wars sucks. Thanks so much for watching this far, Nerders here. Be sure to like and subscribe. Join us on Discord, bestdamnerdshow.com/Discord. And if you got a little extra jingle in your jangle and you want to help us out, join our Patreon, bestdamnerdshow.com/Patreon. I know I'd appreciate it.